Welcome back to another episode of the Automotive Artistry Podcast. I'm your host, Miguel, and this is actually going to be the last episode of the series that was for the Detroit Autorama for this year, 2026. And we had 4 episodes on this series, and this being the last one, I've had some time to sit back and think about the whole series. We've done something like this before at SEMA, and not quite to this extent. So this was really, there's a lot to think about over these it's 3 episodes, but really 4 episodes, because I do consider the trip over to Detroit Metal Shaping to Joe McKean's shop and a whole part of the whole thing. It wasn't at the Detroit Autorama, but it was something that, to me, I really wanted to represent Detroit a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot of it. And this episode that's going to be coming up, it's episode 56. And I'm going to talk about the people on this episode first. And I kind of want to go into a little bit of my thoughts after. This episode is great. All of them are great. I say this all the time. And again, I have fun with all of this stuff. It's really the main point. You should try to have fun with everything you do. But this one in particular had a few people that the first part of this is a 2-part episode. And the first part was with both Jonathan Goolsby and Paul Vannus. And if you recognize those names, obviously Goolsby Customs is a huge name in the industry, and Dutchboy Hotrods is another huge name in our industry. And when it comes to custom car building, these 2 people are at the top of it. And they're very, very down-to-earth people that I've enjoyed talking to them, getting to know them. I think maybe we said it in this podcast, but it's probably been since 2016. And a lot of this is where a lot of things started like this on the podcast. And actually not the podcast, but the social media stuff we did. And I've been really fortunate since about 2014 to get to know a lot of you in the industry. And I'm really grateful to be able to have these episodes to talk to people like this. And it's not really about popularity for me on this. There might be somebody you've listened to on the podcast that, you may have never heard of them before. But these are 2 people that have really worked their way up and have done a lot in our industry. Not just from learning about how to do things, but just capturing inspiration to go further. Because every time I've seen both of these guys work and their teams, because obviously they're big shops and it's a culmination of things. But at the end of the day, their vision is something that really helps spearhead where they're going. And I have a lot of respect for both of these guys. So Jonathan, Paul, thanks again. Well, Jonathan, we'll do a full episode on you someday. Paul, this was actually the second appearance on the podcast. Years ago, we had actually done another episode. You can go check that back. I don't have it at the top of my head, unfortunately. But if you want to go listen to Paul and Joe Vannus, his dad, which is also a great person in our industry, you can go back to our episodes, look them up. You can search it. And you'll find them from, I feel like it was maybe like 4 years ago or so. But in any case, it was great to have both of them together. They're both people that at some of these shows, we laugh a lot. I know we're always messing around, having fun and stuff. And we've done a bunch of events together. Actually, I think I say it in this episode too. And I probably said it in the episode with Paul. But a lot of the builds that Dutch Boys really brought to the table earlier on were ones that really got me and inspired me. And the same thing with Jonathan. You'll hear a little bit on this episode. We covered a multitude of things, and I've mixed around these podcast episodes through the series, thinking that I was going to go one direction, and I ended up just grouping people together that I thought would be great together on these episodes. And one thing I do want to say that I don't know if you hear it on these episodes, but I was getting over being sick during all of this. And part of that was I did not have a voice. It was pretty tough. So if you hear me talk really low on some of these episodes, it's mainly because I'm losing my voice while I'm talking to people. And it was really tough right around this time too. I felt like, and also it was a combination of things. I hate that I'm trying to like justify my performance on this, but just like anything, I try to do better that I can. And sometimes I feel like I'm not doing the best, but I still do it anyways. And despite losing my voice and everything like that, I still push through because this is something I really enjoy doing this. And I think these conversations help people. But I also, when we were doing the episode with Franny Drummond and Corey, I could not stop. If you listen back to that, you can see where we actually got cut off because the power went out, and that was still going through my head. You know, that one kind of got me a little bit. So I feel like I jump around in this episode. You guys tell me in the comments. Tell me how I did. I sometimes I'm pretty critical on myself on everything I do, whether I'm in the shop or doing the podcast. It's something that I always want to try to be better at. But in any case, guys, thanks again. This was so much fun, and I consider you guys friends and a source of inspiration, and I know a lot of people do. So I think there's some good gems in this one that'll really help people out and get to know you guys a little bit better, because there's a lot more to both of these people in our industry than just the builds and everything. They're really intelligent people and people that I look up to. So thanks, guys. And talking about people that I look up to, the part 2 on this one, it is first off, well, I guess it's not first off at this point, but BASF was a big part of being able to make this series possible. They hosted us in their booth, and Tina Nelles is somebody who really pushes in our industry for the people in it. And I feel that. And I'm really appreciative that she actually took a chance with us and let us have a spot. BASF and Tina, thank you. Tina, you are a part of BASF and you represent it really well. And I think that this part 2 really shows that, because Tina, I've got to know you over the years, and we've got to know each other for a few years now. I guess I should say it like that. And I can really tell that you really are a part of this industry. And I think that this episode will really show that to people, and the importance of people like you in the businesses, in just people who actually are from our industry, who want to see our industry improve and be a part of it. So part 2 is with Tina Nelles from BASF, and it's a great one. You really get to know a little bit about her. You really get to see her mentality of how she feels about our industry. And I felt like you really get to see the support system she really is in our industry. So I can't emphasize that enough, because I really do see, my I don't know if it's 23 years now in the industry, I'm actively in a shop right now. And, I do this stuff because I enjoy it. I do this on the side. But I really, maybe I already repeated myself again, but very important. There's a lot of people in our industry that are very important. And some of them you may have never heard of them. Tina's she's been in our industry. A lot of you in the industry who are builders, custom painters, so many different aspects of what we do. She's been around it and she supports it. So in no way have I gotten paid or anything like that from BASF. I'm lucky that they allowed me to do this podcast there. So I'm just showing my appreciation. And for everyone that helps us out, we'll always do what we need to help them in return, because we need a lot of that in our industry. We're going in a great direction. And thanks for listening to this part of the podcast, this series. We have a lot more planned, and we want to do a lot more. So for all the sponsors who've helped us this far to get to this point, thank you. And once again, thank you, BASF, for hosting us at this year's Detroit Autorama 2026. And everyone who is a part of the podcast, you don't know how much it means to us that you help us. So thank you. Now, let's get started on this episode. All right, so we are on to our next couple guests here. And I am really happy to have the two of you here. We've got Paul Vannus and Jonathan Goolsby.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Guys, we actually did, the podcast that we did with you and your dad.
Yeah, when was that? 2016?
It was, so we did the podcast.
No, because it was after we did McPhee's car, so no.
I think it was 2020.
2020, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking of the other car.
So that was the earlier days when I was first starting all this stuff, and man, a lot of changes between now and then
for everybody.
Yeah. That was one of the things that him and I were talking about earlier. Was when I sit here and I look back at this car and what they've built now, and I think about that maroon, the maroon Camaro, and I'm like, it's so cool to be able to see the progression you guys have done, because that car. I was, at that time, I was really into those earlier Camaros.
Yep.
So, I was all in on that thing. And I still am, you know. But it's just crazy to see how far you guys have come.
That was the flat Camaro?
No, he's talking about the 69, the maroon 69.
The maroon one, okay, yeah.
That was but it was flat cleared, wasn't it?
No, that was my second gen.
Yeah, second gen.
That was the one that we took to SEMA 15 that kind of started the first jump.
I thought it was like a dark.
It was a dark maroon.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
That's the one that
that we worked on down at Avant.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that one really, again, that was the body style that I was into at the time.
Yeah.
And that really got my attention and everything.
Yeah, that car. That was probably our first opportunity that a customer allowed us to do, just do what you want to do.
Yeah.
He goes, I don't want to pick the color. I don't want to pick any. I don't even want to see it till you unveil it at SEMA. But a very good budget and free reign. So that was pretty special. Jonathan knows when you get the opportunity to do that, which is not all the time. For us, that was kind of the highest caliber car we built to that date.
Yeah.
And it allowed to show us, what we could do. We went out, did really well at SEMA, and won Street Machine of the Year, and but it kind of added that, solidification of what we can do, and then from there, just that kind of helped grow from there. So,
did you know them at the time?
So that's what I was talking about. The flat one, the second gen, that's probably the first time we started interacting.
Yeah.
When we went to Des Moines, Good Guys, and you'd won Street Machine, and we'd won Hot Rod or Street Rod.
Yep.
So that was our first sharing of a beer.
Yeah,
It was.
Yep.
Man,
look at us now.
It's crazy to think. I feel like 2016, that time area was like a lot of beginnings for a lot of people like that. Where a lot of, at least for a lot of the community, for
You young folks.
Yeah. Was that really the car that set things off for you guys?
The second gen?
Yeah. That really rocket shipped you guys out.
Yeah, that was my personal car too, which was very difficult to build a car that was the nicest, because we basically at that point only did body and paint, and that's all my dad still probably would say he wants to do, and I wanted to build. I'm a glutton for punishment, I guess. Do the fab work and the full turnkey builds, and I was building that car, and it just kind of was taking the back shelf, and we were painting a couple cars for the owner of Holly at the time.
Yeah.
And he had seen my car in the background of some of the pictures or whatever, and he goes, "Man, we're gonna do some products at SEMA. Long story short, would you want to have your car in our booth at SEMA and have some of these products on it?" And this is 2 months before SEMA. And the car is bare metal, and so I'm like, yeah, that's a great idea.
That's typical.
Let's do
it.
But we had cars at SEMA that we had painted for other shops or whatever, but we never had something that we built at SEMA. So that was our first car that we built at SEMA that year. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and kind of going back to that time frame, I know last time you and I talked, which made you feel old, was 2016 was the same time that Connie and I did a road trip down to, I took her from Colorado to Florida.
Yeah. Yep.
And we did a post saying something, we're traveling through, the area, and we ended up visiting you at your shop.
Yep.
And now Connie and I are married.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty crazy to think, all these different things, that were happening in that time period.
All that going, and really seems like it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So crazy.
I remember going to your shop, and I think it was Time Merchant.
Yeah, 32 pickup.
There.
Yeah.
Was that around the time you guys had just finished that car, or was that an older build?
No, that's about the time we finished it. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
that's really cool. That was another car that was like one of the ones that there's certain cars that at least really drove me on this side of things. Like I really enjoy this. I'm not doing what you guys are doing, but I get inspired by it all the time. Because I do enjoy like the custom, side of the sheet metal work and all that kind of stuff. And I remember when you showed us your shop, you had the two power the power hammers.
Yeah.
And like I was just Googling over those things.
Those are we lucked up with that because insurance guy had it, and he wanted us to. It's sitting in his yard. And he said, I'm going to bring it to y'all as soon as we bought that shop. He's like, I'm going to bring it. Y'all restore it. Y'all keep it here. And it was like an art piece.
Yeah.
So eventually he had some issues come up, and he's like, I got to sell it. And he said, Roger Shop and Jesse James want it. And I was like, man, there's no way I'm going to be able to buy this,
Yeah.
And we had just happened to sell our old property, and he gave us a killer deal on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no way you'll ever be able to replace it, So, it's like the centerpiece of the shop in the fab shop part of it,
Yeah. And that, it wasn't too far from where you were, right?
No, yeah, that's been in Alabama its whole life. It's a 1943 model double-headed Yoder. So.
And what was it doing before? Wasn't it?
Aircraft stuff.
Okay,
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Yeah. That was, we were talking to Faye Butler earlier, and we brushed up on some of the aircraft industry and, some of the equipment that was getting used back then like that.
Yeah, it's crazy. It definitely wakes everybody up in the shop.
You can feel it in the floor.
Yes, you can, yeah.
That's like one of those machines. I love the old equipment like that.
Yeah.
And, like, that's one of those machines, like, from my point of view, I feel like it's an honor to have something like that.
The same way. That's like I can never get rid of it just because of what it is,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Do you guys have any old equipment at your shop like that?
Just our Pole Maxes. We have some 2 older Pole Maxes.
Yeah.
That's about it. Yeah.
I always like hearing the stories, some of these guys that find them, just hidden in some building that was abandoned and, that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool to hear when those come up, because
it's cool to get that stuff because of how old it is, and it's going to outlast everything,
And a lot of that stuff probably got melted down.
So the guy that had the power hammer, he actually had a English wheel come out of the same facility, but somebody got it and they end up trashing it and dumping it.
Oh, scrapping
no.
it. That's crazy.
That was the one piece he also wanted. So
yeah, there was maybe like 8 years ago, there was a building that was getting demolished, and I don't know. I think I saw it on Craigslist or Marketplace or something, and somebody put an ad up, and they had some random pictures, and it was a huge facility, right? And there's these big steel tables and stuff like that. So I was like, whatever, I'll go over and check it out. I go over there, and there's 2 C-clamps, right? Just regular vice grip C-clamps sitting there, and they're kind of covered in stuff. And I grab them, and I go, how much do you guys want for these? And they're like, you want that? And I was like, yeah, I'll clean them up, I'll use them. And they're like, we threw away about 75 of them yesterday. I'm like, and you guys know, clamps, like, you can't have enough of them.
Enough clamps.
But actually, so Paul, I kind of want to talk a little bit about, this car.
Yeah.
You guys, You mentioned that this is one of 2 cars.
Yep.
Right.
Yep, for 2 brothers.
Yeah.
Yep.
And is it going to be similar projects like?
Same car, but quite a bit different, I would say.
Yeah.
This one's more sinister, I guess you would say, darker finishes. The other one would be more like a elegant, shinier.
Okay.
So some body difference. The other car doesn't have the side scoops. The other car doesn't have a spoiler. We didn't do the header panel hood treatment because those cars had a full hood on them.
Yeah.
The other car has the full hood, but we made custom trim because those cars had moldings on the front and rear of the car.
Yep.
That this car we took off. That car has those that we handmade, and then are plated. That car has plated bumpers, plated wheel hoops.
Yeah.
So same car, but they'll be. I'm curious to see when they're both done together.
Yeah,
That'll be pretty cool because they're going to be, a lot different, but they're
the same
you don't
car.
ever see. It wouldn't be the same. Like 2 69 Camaros sitting together wouldn't be like that uncommon difference, but the 2 Torinos done to that level will be pretty cool.
That's one of the things. I don't know if you guys feel this way, but like, a lot of these cars, I feel like you can put just a regular version of it side by side with like some of these custom cars, or even one that's just cleaned up.
Yeah.
And you like this one that much more, even though it's the same exact car. And like a lot of people don't pick up, it's like, oh, it's because they got rid of this, or they recessed the trim, or like they changed this line right here, and it's like it's the same thing.
Yeah.
But these differences, you're just like, a lot of people aren't understanding why they're liking it that much.
Yeah. I'll be curious what the thoughts are between the 2 cars when they're together, like what people like the differences, because they're different wheels, so they'll be a bit different.
I'll be interested to see how the 2 brothers take it.
Yeah.
Like, my car's better than yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like recessing trim and stuff like that, like that's a lot of work.
Yeah.
To put something like that together.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to like that Camaro and everything, how much have you guys like changed your process? And
100%.
Yeah.
I look at that car now, and that car we learned a lot at that time, and we've always kind of done over the years what we can do with what we have. And we just learned a lot since then, whether it's, the talent in the shop or, buying some more, we've kind of bought equipment as we could afford it or whatever. And so just like, and then just how we build cars have just changed so much in the last few years. Like that car was at that time was the best car we ever built. And then, since then, we do things a lot differently now. So, but.
And you've been able to, I mean, obviously you've built all kinds of, cars that obviously you're at all these shows and everything.
Try to be.
But you've seen a lot of people like Paul and stuff like progress through their careers and stuff. Like, how do you feel?
I feel old. Watching them come through and the stuff they're putting out.
Yeah.
It's makes you feel like you're behind sometimes, because they're coming in with all the new technology, all the new toys and all that, and we're, having to figure it all out too. But that younger generation pick it up quick, So.
Do you feel like you had it harder, like by some of the equipment, or because there's a lot of technology that 10 years ago didn't
definitely
exist
right now I can see how technology is even making it easier for us.
Yeah.
Even in the body shop for us. If we want something special, we can print it up, But I've realized how much easier it is scanning.
Let's take a quick break to talk about one of today's sponsors, Sada USA. In the automotive paint spraying world, cup systems are crucial, and Sada has some great options with this, the LCS cup system, which means liner cup system. What makes it stand out is the uniquely designed liner that's really thin, so it actually folds over and makes sure you're getting as much material as you need out of it and not starving like other systems might. They're great whether you're in collision, restoration, or custom work, but especially when you're spraying thicker materials like polyester primers, getting into those hard to reach upside down areas like chassis or undersides where things can get complicated. Whether you're running the SATA RPS or the new LCS, SATA has you covered. Learn more at SATAUSA.com today. Now let's get back to this episode.
Stuff and all that mess, and like having everything in-house has helped. You know, we don't do a lot of machining, but like you're doing machining, and I can see how that just makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
Where we didn't want to never do interior. Well, we started doing it and realized, man, it's so much easier to have that knowledge in too. So, I don't know, it's keeping up with them and learning, because it keeps changing and new stuff comes out to make everything easier, but you have to figure it all out, you know?
I think one of the things that's really gotten to me is like with the 3D printing. I personally think that it's going to save a lot of things, because like people are stamping sheet metal now. And like, so now you can have a 3D printer in your shop and figure out a way to stamp a certain part of the car that would have been a lot harder to make before.
It's almost like printing you a buck.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
So
even that, like you're seeing people do that. I mean, there's, you know, some of the CNC machines that also helped out with that, but you know, the fact that you can like, I don't know, I'm sure there's somebody out there already 3D printing dies.
Oh yeah,
for stuff, you know, and you're getting it to that exact measurement, then print another one that has a little.
Thing is that is it's another person over there working.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
You know, you go do whatever else while that thing's being made. Yeah. You know, so
that'll be interesting to see how that like turns. Whether it's like just the skill set changes for the person. You know, does that mean the fabricator starting to become more of the 3D person?
So our two of our fab guys actually handle a lot of drawing that stuff up.
Really?
Yeah. So, and one of them is an interior guy too. So they're all drawing it up, and they all figured it out, you know. So and you can make fun things and send them to your friends.
What are you talking about?
I feel like there was something shipped.
Yeah.
But like that sounds like to me that a fab person might make a good 3D person then.
Completely.
That's the same for our shop. My main fab shop manager, he's the one that he basically taught himself the 3D modeling and printing, and he's the forefront of that now, which is, I think, is a clutch thing for the fabricator and that person to be the same person, because they understand how things work and things function and how it needs to be put into the car and all that. So, and it just, you know, the prototyping of it, like 3D printing stuff, even if you're, you know, making it in pieces and gluing it together to fit it in a car and test fit it, you know, giving that to the fabricators.
Yeah.
It's pretty.
Saves a lot of money and time to be able to print something versus machining it and it doesn't work, you know? So.
Well, I guess the fabricators got the idea of like what works already.
Yeah.
They're making these things. Your hands are the 3D printer. You're putting that stuff together, and then, you know, now that you go into 3D printing, if you take somebody who's not in the industry, they may not know what actually would work.
Yeah.
You know, so that's pretty interesting. I mean, like I said, I think 3D printing is gonna.
Well, towards even printing metal and making your own knobs and all that stuff now. You know, it's insane. So.
Yeah. I mean, everything was getting machined before.
Yeah.
Which that's great, and the parts look beautiful, but I mean, what's the cost difference? I mean,
it all
know
depends.
The 3D metal is still expensive.
Yeah.
But that's going to start tightening up.
I love the fact that the guy that gets to draw all this up, he can do it in his living room in his underwear and make mad money and never get dirty.
You sound like you're going for a career change.
Yeah.
But that also makes me think of, like, you know, the people who do body work tend to be good metal shapers too. You know, because they understand shape.
They have to,
You know, I mean, you get to a point you don't want to spreading filler and sanding in and all that stuff, so you can make the panels better.
Yeah.
You know.
So because a lot of times the fab guys, they get them, you know, say 85%. He comes down there, the body guys are like, well, I need to tweak this and move this and get it to where they can wipe it, you know. So.
Yeah, I think that's some great stuff to see now, where like when I was in my earlier career, it didn't exist. At least, you know, from my standpoint, where I was standing. That
Part's definitely changed a lot versus let's just do the body work on that fender, and then, now a whole side of a car is one panel.
Yeah.
Where used to it was piece by piece, So.
Yeah, and you've been able to develop a lot, not just on the, the car building side, but like building a team and everything. Well, both of you really.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say that's probably. Would you say that that's the biggest thing that you guys have, the pivot that really moved things forward, is being able to delegate people?
That was like when I first went into business, you try to do everything, and you finally realize you can't.
Yeah.
And it was like a slap in the face. It's like you need help.
Yeah.
And that's where it started. You realized, this guy can do just that.
Yeah.
You get somebody else to do that, and I think that's where the team began. You know. So.
And it's tough because when you want to do that stuff, you want to build that panel, you want to paint that car and everything, and
it slowly takes you build an army, but then it slowly takes you away from playing as much. You know. So
I look at some of the guys in the fab shop now, and pretty much probably all of them, like what they can do in shape metal, and because they do it day in day out, and I'll do it like on my own personal projects or. If I'm messing around with something, but it's like they do it so much better and faster than me. It makes me almost not want to do it because they just are so like
they can do it so much faster.
And then it looks so good, and just like I'll go do something else. Maybe I'm good at or something better at somewhere.
But it's also cool to develop them into that, and then you get to sit back and like kind of watch that progression of them too.
Yeah.
That's another aspect I don't think a lot of people, when you're team building like that, it's
like, kind of like, here's what we did, So,
it takes a team. It takes to be able, like Jonathan, having those through the shop, guys that can kind of understand the cars and do it all and work together, because sometimes things go to the body shop and it needs to be changed a little bit, or a fab guy needs to make a modification or whatever, and like that team, everyone working together for the goals. The team is, priceless. Just creating that atmosphere, and
How many people do you have at the shop now?
We're 21.
Okay, and you
10.
10.
He steals them all. Yeah. Something about this frozen parking lot has got everybody confused.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of people to put that stuff together.
Yeah.
I mean, I think in the same sense of like, you're trying to do everything, and finding those hands that do the metal shaping, do the paint work, do the body work, all that stuff. I mean, the only way I see you actually get productive is that.
It's to me 100%. Like, I feel like I still do all the painting, and I wish I could find somebody to hand it off to. And a lot of people are like, you're never going to hand it off, but I'm to that point where I could. But it's finding somebody that you trust, just like a metal guy that you trust, just go ahead and handle that, So
was your main background
painting?
Work?
Yep.
So that's even harder to let that go.
To some degree, I think I've gotten old enough to where I can. I still enjoy it, especially when I can just go in there and be the diva just to pull a paint gun and go paint and not have to prep. But weekends, if I go do it and it's quiet, it's like a reset, and I get to enjoy it all over again.
I definitely feel the same. It's like, one weekend where you can it's just you in there,
not getting pulled in different directions.
It's one of those moments too. Like you enjoy it regardless, but like it really lets you just flow into that thing.
You get in a groove, and like painting something big throughout the week always seems harder for the fact of you're handling business and trying to get something painted at the same time. It's just you get aggravated with it to some degree. So.
Actually, talking about paint, and how was that when you did that flat paint on the Camaro?
Oh, we did that flat paint on that car because of the timeline. Honestly, a lot of people never knew that. They just thought it was something that, like, we did it for the look of it, which it turned out cool, and it kind of made a wave being flat. But the car got painted flat because we painted it the week before SEMA, basically. So.
Cheater.
We all know how long it takes to wet sand off a car, and that was just not in the. There were just not. No matter how many people and how good there was not time to wet sand off a
So
car.
every time I see a flat car from you, I'm like, you didn't have time to clear it, huh? Yeah.
But that adds, the flat clear it does add a challenge too.
Dirt.
The dirt.
Oh.
Check it out.
And when we did that car, that was the first time we'd sprayed an overall flat. We never done that before, and it turned out really well.
Yeah.
But,
I think it fit the car, and
Yeah.
how many cars were flat back then?
Well,
Yeah.
wasn't that like taboo?
Yeah.
Like, wasn't that like
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
other car people didn't like that?
Everybody some frowned
Yeah.
upon it because it was an easy way out.
Yeah.
But
that,
it's not.
That car, it fit with the big flares and the big spoiler and the second gen, body style, and it worked out really well. And that car, we still get calls about that car today. Like, that car is just kind of like iconic.
And
So-
now it's like flat cars are now you
The
can
big
buy
thing.
a BMW.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you get a frozen car, and then they joked about flat cars, and now we got primer colors.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
like
that's worse.
it's so funny.
Trendsetter.
That's and that now it's like shiny primers
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah. It's crazy how all the earth tone colors are
They're huge
big.
right now.
Yeah. So
I mean, I kind of like the where there's a little bit of pearl and metallic
Yeah.
in there, kind of keeping it subtle.
yep.
Like my '68 Ford has one of those colors. It has one of those green colors where, like, from the factory, you don't see the metallic from far away,
Yep.
but when you walk up 10 feet to the car, you start seeing it.
And most of them 60 colors were kind of a solid color, but it had just a little pinch in there.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. There was, and even the classic colors are starting to come back.
Yeah.
Even like some of the brown colors that nobody cared for.
Mhm.
It's like, part of me thinks that the colors are just better, like the metallics and the pearls, so they just look nicer than they did back then.
Oh,
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
So that makes a big difference right there too.
The big old chunky metal flake back in the day.
Yeah.
So,
Well, guys, this was fun.
Yep.
I definitely want to have you guys down in Florida, at some point. Jonathan?
can we do a one person, or me and you have our own kayak?
Oh, kayak? Yeah. I think that's only mandatory. That's the only way we do that.
Yeah.
But guys, thanks again for stopping by.
No, it's a good
and doing
time.
This,
Yeah.
I know it's quick, but we're just trying to go through them all.
Yeah, I get it.
You know.
Good time, everybody meeting up here too.
Yeah. It'll be fun tonight to hang out.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Get away from the show. This is all fun, but it's always good to hang out with friends.
Oh, we all can agree that's for the most part, that's
Yeah.
what it's all about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the car, it's kind of
It's cool.
it's cool.
It's
it does
fun.
its thing, but a lot of you form a family of friends and going to these shows and hanging out, and you look forward to that. And the time you spend together, and
Yeah.
so it's pretty cool.
It's like the cars are there to get us there. Like he has this here. It's not in competition.
Yeah.
I just flew up here just to see him, see you. But it's just it is that they bring us all together and hang out, and it's from every state around.
That's a lot of effort just to go hang out with your friends.
Delta did a good job.
Cool, guys.
Dude, appreciate
Thank you,
it.
guys.
Yeah.
It was fun. Thanks. All right. Well, the next guest. Well, I'm gonna put you for. I'm gonna edit this and put you as the first person.
Okay.
So, this podcast has been made possible by BASF and our friend Tina Nelles. Did I say your last name right?
Yep, sure did.
Okay. Tina, seriously, this has been a lot of fun. Being able to come together with our friends at these shows. One of the hardest things is we all do these events and we might hang out a little bit here and there at the show, but to come together and have great conversations, it's great. So thank you for facilitating that and making this possible.
Well, thank you for asking me, and I'm excited to see it take place all throughout the afternoon.
Yeah. It's been we've had some really Like we've gone from custom paint to metal shape to builders. It's been awesome.
And now I feel like nobody.
No, you are definitely somebody in this industry, and that's actually something I've been excited to talk to you about, because when it comes to the people that are in these companies like BASF, and I really find it important that people like yourself are there, because you have such an interest in this industry, and the more time I spend, getting to know people in these events and these shops and working with companies, the more I see the importance of having what I may consider it like our people, in this, because the interest is there, and that's something that, again, it's one of the most important aspects as the years go by.
I think the people make it easy to have the interest.
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of friends, a lot of, I love catching up with everybody. I love seeing everybody.
Yeah.
And they make it easy to have an interest in the industry.
You've developed some of the biggest friendships in the industry. I know there's partnerships and all that stuff, and you work with some great companies and people. I mean, in the background, one of my favorite things of the setup here was having the backdrop of, having the Dutch Boys car here and having Franny's artwork in the background. Like, that really says a lot, because you are, more to my point, is you're representing the industry and the people that are actually in it.
So, do you know that's from 2019?
Yeah.
And that was the very first year that I was the face to the brand at SEMA.
Wow.
And I called Franny on a whim and said, I got an idea. Do we think we can do it? And him and I had already, built that friendship.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'll make it happen.
Yeah.
And that was that background, because this is only a portion of it. That background was a hit of the show.
Yeah, and that's there's on the other side of this wall, you can't see it right now, but there's more artwork on the other side, and that was this was celebrating 100 years.
100 years of RM at that time.
Okay.
And Glazeret was about 135. And then just this past year, Rudy, who's the mascot to the brand, celebrated 100.
That's awesome. And there was 2 more walls to this?
Yes, there was 2 more walls.
Okay. And how much time did Franny have to
Too
do all
much
this?
time.
Yeah.
I probably owe that man my life.
Yeah. And there was another person involved on that too?
Austin from Poland Designs.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a great artist.
Yeah. They're both of them.
Yeah.
Truly, honestly, I owe them everything for that.
That's awesome. Yeah, and they're great guys. We had them on the podcast earlier. We had not Poland, but we had Franny, and we had Corey, Mr. Oz Designs, and it was great we talked about that for a little bit, and a lot of the projects that they've been working on throughout the years and everything. This is 2 different genres. You got airbrush artists here, and then you got a builder. When you've made these friendships with a lot of these, people in the industry, you're really swinging the genres here. So how have you been able to, when you're doing these projects, you have a lot of people that you can, contact. And, whether you're setting up something for this show or anything like that, that's got to be a lot of people to keep track of. Or
I follow them all on social.
Yeah.
In that matter, my husband does too, because he loves to tell me, oh, so and so's doing this or so and so's doing that.
Yeah.
But I try. Lately, it's been a bit crazy, so I maybe haven't been as good. But I try to stay connected here and there. I definitely follow them. But we have Dutch Boys in the booth here now. Dutch Boys is pretty local to the show, so I try to keep it, try to bring that local talent in, and try to connect and to me, it's let me help them and them help me.
Yeah.
Because it's both good for the brand and it's good for them.
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's what I mean when I say it's representing the artist. And artwork and our thing this is a piece of art right here too. It doesn't have to be a mural or anything like that.
100%.
Where did your interest start from?
So it started back when I was, 15, 16. I think it was just the group of friends I had at that time. Believe it or not, my husband and I often joke we probably crossed paths when we were at that age, but didn't know it. But started with a little street racing.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, there's street racings. There's definitely airbrush work and stuff like that on some of the cars and stuff. Actually, street racing. I'm thinking of drag racing and stuff like that too. But did you get hands-on at the time? Like, where did you? Were you like building the cars yourself?
I was actually in the driver's seat racing it.
Yeah.
Probably didn't start building anything until my husband and I started dating. At that time, he was building a 1969 Chevelle.
Okay.
And I helped him do a little bit of body work and stuff like that then.
Yeah.
And
so that's a cool dynamic there, because Connie and I, she does body work and paint work and everything. So it's always been nice to be able to, meet together on this stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So that definitely makes the career a lot easier when,
Yeah, he loves it for a passion. And so he's saying what's behind the scenes, what don't we see on social that's going on is what he'll ask me sometimes. And then he'll go, oh, I really like, this car or that car that somebody did.
When did you start working with BASF?
So I started at BASF in customer care 21 years ago. And then about 11 years ago, came over to the refinish side.
Okay.
And I've been in refinish, and I will probably finish in refinish because it was melding a passion with a career. It kind of brought it all together.
I mean, that's going from the racing side. Like, I think a lot of us grew up in that kind of stuff, right?
Yep.
Whether we were watching, like, some of the old TV shows and stuff. I feel like getting exposed to the paint side and then seeing the airbrush, and, like, that's a whole different animal right there.
I have learned a lot from a lot of people.
Yeah.
I probably, when I got into this industry, I didn't know anything. And started to learn how, take it down to bare metal, and how do you take it all the way up from unders to your base to your clear.
Yeah.
Somebody joked with me sometimes and said, think about doing your fingernails.
And that's real too.
In the process that you go through to put your finger, you start by buffing them, and it was then that it kind of all clicked. I'm like, okay, this makes sense.
Yeah. And again, I when we go to like these genres of things, there's the collision side, right?
Yep.
Standard operating procedures. There's plenty of stuff, When you get into this world, you're pushing the limits of everything you use.
Every single product, yes.
Was that a big learning curve as you were like developing, in the refinish side?
I talk to the guys about it. When they run into problems, I'm reaching out to. There's a few experts, I'll call them, that understand both sides of the world.
Yeah.
Because there's some people who they only really know collision.
Yeah.
And they don't understand. Like, to them, you don't put 4 or 5 coats of clear on there. I get no.
Yeah.
But these guys do. They push it to the limits, and so there's a lot of times that I've tried to really strongly create a community. So that people can talk about what challenges are you having, what clear are you using, when you're working with this, how do you approach it, but really trying to create that community and bring people together so they can leverage on the challenges they face together.
Yeah. Are there a lot of people in the company that they are airbrush artists? They are people that are, doing this kind of stuff?
So we see both sides. There's some, we have, if you come into the office in Southfield, there is, down the one hallway, there's locker doors.
Okay.
And it was done by one of our regional managers. He's a very good airbrush artist.
Yeah, yeah.
Ralph, who's our training center manager, builds several cars.
Okay.
A lot of the technicians, they build all of them. Like I always say, you didn't go into collision because you love collision. You went into collision because you love cars.
Yeah, yeah.
You love the industry.
Yeah, and that's how I feel about a lot of this stuff, you know. I mean, there's great opportunities in the collision industry and stuff, but like the custom stuff to me is like what draws people in, you know. The artistic, creative side of things, you know. I mean, most of the cars that we're looking at here, they're not factory. There's a lot of them. There's for sure some, but you know, especially when you're looking at contenders for the Grade 8, these are some of the most custom cars, you know, in the country.
Like I couldn't imagine having to judge those cars.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, when you walk around, you have your favorites, and you're like, it could be this one, could be that one.
Yeah, yeah.
But I still couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine judging those because they're all beautiful.
Yeah, yeah.
And people poured their heart and soul into building that car.
Yeah, yeah. And you know, one thing I like, you know, bringing up the point of people in BASF that do this type of stuff. You know, I think what a lot of people in our industry kind of get maybe blinded by is like, yeah, you can build a shop, you can do all that stuff, but like there's other opportunities with businesses like BASF. You know, are you guys, do you look for people that are in the industry, you know, to work in the company?
I think both of you met Danny Richardson this weekend. He's a prime example.
Yeah.
He spent several years being a painter at a restoration shop.
Yeah.
Before he came to the BASF side. There's a lot of salespeople. Alan Lukens, he's our strategic account manager. He leads the strategic account team.
Yeah.
He ran a body shop for 15 years before he came over. So there's a lot of people, even that are in BASF, they've been in the industry for a long time, whether they painted or they were a technician, all kinds of different areas.
And that's again, looking, at least from my point of view, I look at that and like I see the importance of that, because when you put people who have tested this stuff and are active in it, that's great eyes to have when you're trying out new products or anything like that. And I really think it's important for our industry for people to kind of like realize that too. Like, hey, these companies are looking for you.
There's credibility. There's opportunity.
Yeah.
And then it builds credibility too. Like, I'll be the first one. You don't want to ask me a technical question. I know enough to get us both in trouble. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of painters that are doing that right now. So, that's something that, I have a lot of friends that are technical. I'm not to their technical level, like they know the science behind why this works and wasn't, at the chemical level. Yep. And that's amazing, but a lot of people, that information is not exactly all the way out there for them.
But it's still, it goes over my head a lot of times.
Yeah.
My niece is a chemical engineer, and I always say she's going to be smarter than me.
Yeah, actually, I have a few close friends that I rely on them for stuff like that, and excuse me, we have, our jobbers and stuff like that, and we always get technical help and looking at the TDS and all that kind of stuff. But when you get into this realm of things, it's good to have a friend who's
There's
done
people
it.
you call.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I have several of those, and some of them don't even work for BASF.
Really? That's awesome.
Some of them are builders.
Yeah.
Some of them are jobbers. But they're my go-tos when I need to make this make sense for me.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? I will say with the podcast we've done, that's been a going theme. Whether it's been like, custom painters, they have their go-to, they have somebody that they've been able to reach out to. Yep. And they have an issue or they have whatever it is, Again, we're pushing the limits to everything we do in the custom side of the things. So, like, having friends, like, a big help for me in my career and learning on the hot rod and the custom stuff, guys like Ron Cohen, he's been a big help for me, too, and There was moments where I'm calling him late at night, and I'm just like, I'm having a problem here, you know? And especially when it's that late, you know, 12 o'clock at night, you're not calling your rep.
Yeah.
You know? And that's also really cool that as you do all of this kind of stuff, you've got those friendships to where you can call Jonathan or something like that.
And Jonathan's one of them. Jonathan, I don't know if you guys know Daniel from Zimmerman's.
No, I don't know.
He's a jobber up in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
The man's eye for color is out of this world.
Mm-hmm.
But he also is very knowledgeable and understands both collision and the custom side too.
Yeah.
So he's another one of my go-tos. Danny Richardson, I'll call him a lot, bounce ideas off him.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just, you know, teach me what I don't know.
Yeah.
And teach me in a way I can understand it and make sense of it.
Now, a lot of it, too, is like, you know, putting the shoulders down and asking for the help. Mm-hmm. That's huge. Mm-hmm. Because, I mean, again, somebody like Jonathan, he's got way more experience than I have. You know, so I got to rely on that when those moments happen like that. Even just for inspiration. I do, you know, he's somebody that I look up to, you know, with the stuff he does. And I'm sure between all the artists that you've had and everything, that gives you guys inspiration. Has any of that ever like even made direction changes with like the company itself when you see like artists and, you know, builders or anything?
I don't know if it's been direction changes, because you have to remember too, the core of what we do, the core of our business is collision.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing is I try to find ways to integrate this into the world, because this is so important.
Yeah.
You know, this is where the passion, this is where the love starts. This is what gets people into the industry.
Yeah.
And so I try to find ways to bring those two together.
Yeah.
A lot of times it'll be, you know, like with the students.
Yeah.
You know from SEMA, I'm very passionate about the students.
Yep.
And that is one way that I've really been able to bring the two together.
Yeah.
And that one has been a little bit of, probably I've been the driver behind that one.
Okay, yeah.
But it allows us to see both sides.
When did that journey start with, like, getting more involved with, like, students and, like, bringing that youth into the industry?
So in the collision as a whole, and even in the custom and the building side, and every one of these genres, the trades are getting, you know, they're getting better.
Yeah.
They're getting better. But, you know, if I go 5-6 years back, it was challenging.
Yeah.
And so we started brainstorming different ways. Like we support CREF, which is Collision Repair Education Foundation. And then we support Tech Force as well, which tech is all trades. And but it was looking for different ways to activate that.
Yeah.
And to find ways to, like, okay, what do we do? And so we started I call it the SEMA Experience Scholarships, where we give 5 students a scholarship, and then in addition to giving those 5 students a scholarship, we bring them out to SEMA. We go along booth to booth. We take them from booth to booth, and then we do a lot of different activities. One of them being the Builder Luncheon, I call it.
Yeah.
And
that was a lot of fun. Thanks for including us on that.
Yeah, and that was the second year we had done the Builder Luncheon.
Okay.
We added a collision luncheon to it too.
Okay.
And both of those, that probably is one of the most valuable items that the teams get from that week, other than all the connections. They get so many connections. But it's just trying to take that and make it stronger and stronger. Like this week here at Autorama, we sponsor, it was 3 students. There was supposed to be 5, but it was 3 that actually made it. And on Student Day, so Friday is Student Day, myself, Danny, and then Miranda from Miranda Built.
Okay, yeah.
We walk around, we look at, we hand select a few cars first, and we walk around and we teach them about what's a good paint job or why it's a good paint job, or looking for what we're looking for when they're judging. And then we have a handful of cars, and then we let those students pick a best paint.
Yeah, yeah.
And
you know that when you had us be a part of that, that was, Connie and I ended up with some stories. Like, it was seriously, like, talking to those students, like, we saw the difference it made. Because, I mean, our round table, we had, Jonathan Goolsby, Tyler Nelson, in our little table, and other great tables with some great builders there. And it was crazy to see how these kids lit up. And I catch myself saying kids. They're young adults, but still,
they're still kids.
Yeah. But it was like to hear their story, right? And then, there's a lot of personal stuff, that gets brought up in there, so I'm not going to bring any of that stuff out of respect. But we got to interact with them in a way, I don't know when they would have gotten that interaction any other way. That would have been, there was a couple students in particular that it was just like we had such a personal connection when we hear their story. And you just watch wall after wall after wall get broken down because, they're...
You guys gave them hope.
Yeah. Yeah, that was... You could see it. You could see it. I mean, the group of people that can actually speak about these things, guys like Tyler that can actually... They have the backing behind it. And... I think for the youth, they look, especially social media is really influential to them. And like a picture doesn't tell you the whole story. A video doesn't tell you the whole story. And you get really excited and you want to do that. You see the cool car, you see the custom paint, you see the whatever it is, and you get really excited. And then what tends to happen is you get... maybe slowed down in that process when it's not quite working out the way you were thinking it was. And it's all part of the process.
Oh, it still happens to me.
Yeah.
I can have a vision on something, and something doesn't go quite as planned. But I'm also a lot older than them. And so I know how to navigate that.
Yeah.
Where they don't know how to navigate that yet.
And I think that's, honestly, I think that's one of the biggest things that you could see that is you have a bunch of people with earned wisdom, and then they're bringing it to these kids for them to actually see what the reality of it is, and that's like the reality is still a great thing. It's just we want to let you know that just because it might look like you can go from here to here right now, and it's really.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
It's a journey. I think it was after I got back from SEMA. It was probably about 2 weeks after I got back from SEMA. With that group of students we took this year, we have one of their instructors that joined actually a couple of the students.
Yeah.
And one of the instructors sent me an email after the fact and was very thankful for the entire program. Said the information, the connections, the recommendations, and just the knowledge the students gained from that week will be with them for the rest of their careers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's why we do what we do.
Yeah, yeah. And I can confirm that because the messages we got after that event, it was, an impact was made.
Yep.
And we need that. We need that in this industry because... we've watched people get, they come in hot, and then things happen, and and it's like, hey, I can tell you right now, we're friends with some of the biggest names in the industry, and they have things that happen every week, and they have to figure it out, and they have to.
Like we all hit roadblocks.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
And it's not industry specific. It's just life.
Think about your personal life. You hit those roadblocks too. It's no different than that.
Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing is like, not only did we get to share things at a technical level with them, and then we got to that personal level, and then they really got to see the reality of it, because I think, I think a lot of people will look at somebody like, they look at Chip Foose, right? They look at these big names, and I say this ad nauseum on the podcast, is it's great to be inspired, by that person. But if you think you're going to be that person, it's not the reality of it.
You're going to be your own person.
Chip Foose is the best Chip Foose. And that's great. And you can be inspired by that. But you're going to have to take that inspiration and be that best version of
Yourself.
who you are. And that's hard for, nobody ever tells that. When I was a kid, I remember the pressure of that. You know, I'm sure we all felt those pressures. And it sucks to feel like you feel alone in those moments, especially when you're 15 years old, 16, 17 years old.
Like, did I make the right choice?
Yeah. And maybe it was the right choice. And if it wasn't, well, now you're going to figure out how to deal with that.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, we had a technical problem here, right? Old Miguel, from way back in the day, might have been mad and whatever, and it's like, that stress. Now I'm just like,
yeah, shit happens.
oh well. Now we got to figure it out, and we got to move on to the next thing, and that's the reality of a lot of this stuff. You know, especially at the level if you're building a sheet metal panel from scratch, and you're learning, get ready to throw away some metal away. You know, and you've heard the stories. That's the reality of all of it.
Just like, you know, I always say, like, you know, and mind you, we haven't participated at SEMA at the level we have previously, but I used to always say, you know, my work went into that show.
Yeah.
From the floor to the vehicle selection to the vehicle placement to the messages we were indirectly delivering by the signage, by the, you know, by the display. And I maybe didn't build a car, but I built a story.
Yeah.
And, you know, that story didn't end how it started. And it went through that, like you talked about, like, it went through a journey. I mean, it was a year's worth of building when I went to SEMA. Or when we're launching a new product, it's the same thing. It goes through its iteration after iteration after iteration until you're finally like, that's it. That's it.
And the other part about it that I've been learning is that you have no idea the things that you're affecting. Just by facilitating, having the BASF booth at SEMA or here, or when you're doing the events with these students and all that, there's a trickle effect that you're probably never going to see. But maybe in 15 years, someone's going to walk up to you and be like, hey, you know, that 1 year you had this, that changed that for me.
Yep.
So just presenting something like that, you know, I think a lot of the stuff that we do, you know, whether it's for our own reasons or not, you know, you're just not going to see it. There's a lot of things that just materialize out of the actions that you took just to do it. And I've been learning that.
I think that's in everything we do.
Yeah, yep.
Everything we do. It's you know, we get asked if we do this, pull this lever or pull that lever when we're doing different things, whether it's business or personal, what's the impact? Well, right now there might not be an impact.
Yeah.
But 5 years down the road, it could be an impact.
Yeah, and that's awesome to, even if you get the chance and you're lucky enough to know you were a part of that, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you're going to be doing with like students? Is there anything new that you guys are working on?
Not right now. We'll probably dive into the SEMA experience to say, because we look at it every year to say, all right, what worked, what didn't work. You know, did we give them enough time to walk around on their own? Did they get enough from us to make it worth, you know, not only the money we put into it, and the time, but was it worth their time? You know, we get feedback from every student, and every year we adjust that program.
Yeah.
We've tried to mimic it in other locations, but it's a little harder.
Yeah.
That one seems to stick the most. So that's the big one right now, is just trying to continue strengthening that.
Yeah. What about like you know, parents that are looking into doing something like this? You know, having their kids be a part of like these programs. Is that something is it easy for them to find this stuff,
I think Tech Force has helped. Tech Force, and there's also a careers and collision. Now, mind you, it's collision focused, and that's why I say both like all of them together.
Yeah.
I think deliver a strong message. I also think support, and like your podcast, your page, Connie's page with working class women.
Yeah.
I recommend those to every student. Like, we give the students a list of channels to follow.
Yeah.
And, there's that, yours is on there, Connie's is on there, Careers and Collision is on there, Tech Force is on there, CREF is on there, because they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
something that, with that being said, they don't know what they don't know. So, like, when I look at the automotive practitioner, the working class women, like, it's a good hub because we're showcasing people from the industry. A lot of them have a lot of experience. And I'll use the custom paint side as an example. I'll even use, Jonathan or any of these people. They've all said the same thing. Like, if you're trying to learn this stuff, don't be afraid to shoot a message to one of those people that you're like, if they inspire you, just send the message. Don't get mad if they don't respond right away or anything like that, because they're busy people, but most of these people have all said the same thing.
Ask. That's one thing that we reinforce throughout that week at SEMA. All these connections you make.
Yeah.
2 months down the road, 3 months down the road, reach out to them.
Yeah.
Connect with them again. They may not email you back.
Yeah.
But connect with them again, because you don't.
Yeah. And if there's especially if it's somebody who's in the genre that inspires you and you're seeing them, like, I've had people, when I tell them this stuff, and they're like, yeah, but I don't want to, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I'm telling you, I know that person. They've helped so many young people with, like, hey, I'm thinking about doing candy. What do I use? What should I look at? Or maybe they're in the middle of doing a little project or something like that, and then they had a problem, and it's like, shoot that person the message. Send them, like, take that. I don't want to say it's taking a chance, because they're all pretty open to them. And having that opportunity through social media to be able to connect to that person, I think that's huge. And I think that, if you're young in the industry, like, definitely take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Because it gives you a direct link to that, to that person. And that, in our industry, we're every shop that we know, they're all hiring. Every single shop that exists right now is hiring. There's such a boom in the custom world. And collision, they're looking for people right now too. Every shop is looking for somebody. And there's, whether it's a lack of people with the experience or whatever, I think a lot of shops are looking for, somebody that they can train and show them the way of being a part of this stuff.
Yep.
So there's tons of opportunities, I think, now more than I've ever seen. I don't know how, what you're viewing out there.
There's huge opportunities. You just have to be willing to step outside that comfort zone.
100%. Yeah.
And it's hard for, young adults.
Yeah.
It's hard to say, I want this job. But it's okay to say, I want this job.
Yeah. And especially when you get to that point, it's like, I remember having that pressure when I was a kid of like, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know if and it's like, to make that jump or not, right? And I can definitely tell you, every single one of us had the same thing, and you're going to have to make a jump. You're going to have to do something.
Well, you think about it. I've been with BASF, I said 21 years.
Yeah.
And prior to BASF, I spent 10 years at a small box manufacturer in my local hometown. I started saying, okay, my husband and I both work there. And it was like, maybe we need to not have, look at being at different companies.
Yeah.
And it was scary.
Yeah.
I mean, I had spent 10 years, the whole time I went through college, I worked in the plant. And I worked in the office. I worked back in customer service. And then it was like, okay, now I'm going to go look for another job. This is all I know.
And that's you having experience in life.
So you still face it every day.
Yeah. And that's the reality of it. And that's okay.
Yep.
Like,
it's okay to be uncomfortable.
Yeah. You see my experience with a lot of the youth is just seeing that pressure and like, yeah, I have my weeks. I have my days. You know, I think a lot of this for what I want to get a message across is like, pressure might be a good thing for you. And it will get better. Or maybe that thing wasn't for you, but you took what I call the call for adventure and you went for it. And what'll end up happening is how many things in your career or wherever you worked you didn't realize that it helped you with something later on?
Oh, that is one of the things that I say. Because if I think about the box manufacturer, small company, privately owned. So I did production. I did customer service. I did inside sales. I did front desk receptionist. Do you know how important that was when I came to a large corporation like BASF?
Yeah.
Because I seen so much of how a company is ran that when you get into a large corporation, it gave me that foundation.
Yeah.
It gave me that knowledge. So just think that you may be starting at a, if you're in you want to get into a custom body shop, you may start with sweeping the floors.
Yeah.
We all started there.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, okay, when you say that, how many things did you not want to do?
Oh.
That you did it anyways.
There's still things today I don't want to do.
100%, yeah. But you have to do it. It's not, that's like saying sweeping the floors. I sweep the floors of the shop too. I might clean the toilets one day. And it's not saying that these are lesser than me or anybody there, and it's still an important job, and it's part of the thing. It's part of the whole process, and it exists. So I think what tends to happen in that same sense with a lot of the youth is they get discouraged by those moments like that.
But they're important.
They are important, yeah. And I think it's part of the character development of the process.
Yeah.
And every single one of us is going through the same thing, It's just like you're going to have those days you don't want to do this thing, even in something that you like doing, and it's fighting you, and now you're in that moment again of like,
oh, I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
I can't get through this.
I've had stuff where I'm building whatever sheet metal thing, and it's not going the way I need it to go.
And you get frustrated, but it's part of the process, because at the end, when you get there and you get done, you're like, that looks good.
Yeah.
And but you had to learn from it. And
the amount of times that I just walked away
and came back.
And I was like, turn this. Oh, okay.
I do that now. I can't get. I'm working on planning this launch or that launch, or putting this together or that together, and something's not clicking. I'm like, I'm just gonna walk away.
Yeah.
I'm just going to walk around, talk to some of my colleagues or something. Just step away for a moment, and you come back, or you're walking back, and you're like, I got it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with what you're doing, setting up the logistics for a lot of these events and everything, there's got to be a lot of pressure there. I mean, I'm sure that's been... Would you say that, like, some of these events will test you in a different way?
Oh, they do.
So nothing's, like... I'm sure there's some repeatable stuff, but the next one is going to throw something at you.
There's always something different. The events is just one portion of my job. I mean, you take, like, okay, we're launching a new clear coat. I'm just making something up. Or when we launched 100 line, I'll use that one. All the collateral that's got to go into it, all the stories we got to build to tell the story about the product. Everything you see when it goes to launch has come through me and my team.
Wow.
And I can laugh now, but COVID, we launched 100 line during COVID. So a lot of times when we're doing a big product launch, we'll do little events.
Yeah.
And that was a big one. And we'll do little events. And my boss came to me at the time, and she's like, we're going to launch this, and we're going to launch it virtually. I had no clue how to do a product launch virtually.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to do what?
Uh-huh.
And but I looked at her and I'm like, we'll figure it out. So, I mean, it's just everything you do is going to come across something that you're not quite sure how to do.
Yeah.
Whether, it's in marketing communications or it's building a car or it's fabricating this part or it's airbrushing this. Put your head down and just remind yourself you got it.
Yeah.
You can do it and you're good at what you do.
Yeah. And trusting in yourself is really that's something I've worked on for myself, and it's for all of us.
It's so important though.
And even doing this podcast is you've seen the episodes we've done today.
Yep.
What are my notes?
You don't have notes.
There's Faye Butler's signature right there for that's all we got. And so a lot of it when I do this kind of stuff, and I take the same mentality when I'm working on the cars and everything. And it's a lot of the knowledge is in you. And a lot of it's been there, and you've trained and you've done and you've had these experiences, and that self-doubt will creep and it'll pull you in and it'll make you get messed up. But then the moment that you go, I've been here before, all of a sudden the path clears out. And I think that's an important one for also the youth to understand. Even the experienced people. There's plenty of people we know that are experienced, and it's hey, you've done this.
Even me. I'll get frustrated because I'm it's not coming to me. And it's no, Tina, you got this.
Yeah.
You know this. You know this like the back of your hand.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've done some great things.
Thank you.
So, again, I really appreciate you being one of the people that you want to represent the industry well. And that means a lot to me. And, just being here, being able to do what we're doing, it really shows that where your heart is for the industry. So it means a lot to me, and thank you for having us here.
Thank you, and thank you for being here. And I care for everybody. And even if I haven't talked to you in the last 5, 6, couple months, 5, 6 weeks, I still care.
Yeah.
It's just busy. Life gets ahead of me.
Yep. And that's all we all are. We all don't see each other for months or talk to each other for months.
We pick up right where we left off.
Yep. So thank you again, Tina. This really means a lot to me.
Thank you, Miguel.
And this has been a fun experience. So thanks for making it happen.
Thank you.
All right. Well, this is another part of the podcast on this episode that I'm going to add to this because aside from my intro, where I probably repeated myself a million times, I really want to reflect back at this whole trip because Detroit Autorama is something that we've been attending for, I don't know if it was 2018 when that first started, but a lot of our friends in the industry, it's been a spot where we've been able to meet up, spend time with each other, enjoy each other, laughs, memories, all that kind of stuff. And it's a show that, at least for us on the East Coast, it's been a huge show for the industry. And the Detroit Autorama, the Riddler Award, the Grade A has been an award that is really important to us. And we want to see it get even better. So it was great to be able to have this podcast there and show a few more perspectives of things, because some of the people that we had on the podcast, they had cars at this event. Our friend Dave Palermo, he had a great Impala over there that he did for the Insane Clown Posse. That was really cool. That Corey Morose, Mr. Oz Designs, he did the custom paint work on that thing was incredible. And even then, you see the car behind us, that was Joe and Paul, Dutchboy Hotrods. They had that back there. There was a number of people that they had some great stuff there, and even people like Trent Lewis, right? He had a grade 8 contender at the show, and you get to hear that on the podcast episode. But there's so many cool stories from all these people from our industry and so many unique perspectives, and I genuinely am interested in sharing these stories and being a part of them. It's cool to dive back into it. And the years that we've been going to the Autorama, we would have these conversations with people. And when I started thinking about the podcast, I was like, this is a great way of sharing that and putting that out there. So it's really cool to go out to someone's shop. And that was, I had gotten to kind of message a little bit back and forth with Joe McKean from Detroit Metal Shaping, which, great shirt. I don't know if he has them on his website, but you should check them out. You can click on his link in Instagram, and he might have something there. But if he doesn't, maybe he'll start getting some now. But either way, to be able to go to a shop in Detroit, and we were also trying to go to another one, but it just didn't pan out, and that's okay. That's part of the whole process. We were trying to schedule something, and it just wasn't working out. Maybe next year we'll try again. But being able to go to Joe's shop and just even before the podcast, we really got to just hear a little bit more about him. Actually, even before that, the night that we throw our industry meet, which I think I'd call it industry green room now because it's for us in the industry. And I got to spend some time and talk to Joe that night. And that was really cool because it was more, we talked about industry stuff, but we also talked about outside of that, and just getting to know him from what he knows about Detroit and all that and how he feels about that. So that was really cool to get his perspective on that. But when you go into a shop and you see the artwork on the walls, you see stuff that really represents Detroit. I felt really good about this episode, actually, with the episode that we did with Joe and Stu Weaver, because it really made me feel like it was representing Detroit. Like I see them as that, and I think there's a lot of people in our industry who represent the area that they're in, and I really felt that there. Just being in that shop, seeing what they do, the projects that they got that are going to be coming out later on, I see it in them. Like I see that they really represent Detroit Automotive, and it was so cool. And I hope that when you watch that episode, you feel that. That's what I'm trying to portray with a lot of these things, with the people, the guests that we have, is being able to see that they represent, not just the industry, but they represent a part of that area, whatever you want to call it, that energy there, whatever it is that sounds right to you. But that's what I really wanted to show in that episode. And maybe another time we'll do another episode with just Joe. I thought Stu really brought such a great aspect to the things that he does and what he does there at Detroit Metal Shaping. But I would like to go into one that was a little bit deeper onto Joe's life and stuff. Because these podcasts are, while I love talking about the industry, I want you to know that there's more behind the people in it. But outside of that, the Autorama was a great time. It was a lot of fun to just. That was a long time of recording. That was really we really had a little bit of a free for all. We didn't know exactly what was going to happen, and we messaged a few people. We knew people were going to come around. We were hoping some were going to be able to make it, but again, just like all these shows, it gets tough. But being able to have podcasts in one place where a lot of people in the industry can show up also, because it's tough. It's tough to we want people to come here and stay in our studio here. Today I was doing drywall work upstairs for a living space that we're trying to do so that when we invite people down to the podcast, they got a really cool place to stay at. And it's also an experience for us. We're doing something that brings it out of you. I want you to feel like you've been talking to a friend, for a long time. That's something that's really important for me for the podcast. But it's tough for people to their busy schedules to get down here and everything like that. And we've had a lot of great support from people who want to come down here and want to schedule it out, and we're going to make that happen. And a lot of people who come down to Florida anyways because it's a great place to get away from the cold, especially. And we live in a beautiful place, so being able to get out here it ends up working out for a lot of people. But outside of that, being able to go to a show where people happen to be, that's great. I really do love that aspect of it. Because you can schedule people, you can do all that, but then you're going to have people that show up and you're like, come on, let's do this, because it's just part of the adventure. And I'm all for the call for adventure and answering it. That's pretty important to me. But in any case, I probably said this before, I'll say it again, I don't really care. But for all of my listeners that have been paying attention during this podcast series, thanks for listening. I really do appreciate the support. To get to this point, to be able to do what we're doing in here, it's great. And there's a lot of work to do for this. The podcast is important to us. So anyways, thank you for your interest in the Automotive Artistry Podcast.